Alright everybody, welcome back to another vlog. This one is kind of a long one. I went a lot of places over the course of these 2 weeks or so. But anyway, right now I'm just waking up on a normal Wednesday morning and prepping for the day, making sure that dinner's going to be done on time with the crock pot, boring life stuff, everyday stuff, before heading out to a doctor's appointment. And once I'm done with that, I gotta go let out my parents' dog, Ruby, because they're a little bit busy this week. I think my mom was out of town, so just trying to help them out. Right after that, I'm heading into work, and the first thing that I have to do today after I prep this session is I have to learn a song for our stream later. After I learned that song, I was teaching a student and got to learn this really fun solo. And the rest of the next few hours were just spent teaching some lessons, both in person and virtual, like this one that you can see here. And the big thing that I have to do on this day is just prep for our live stream. So this is us just getting cameras set up, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of what it sounded like when we played that Taylor Swift song I was rehearsing earlier.
The bad guy's good for a weekend. So what's gonna be forever? What's gonna go down in flames? You can tell me when it's over. Is the highways worth the pain? Got a lot of self lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players, and you love the game.
And I wrap up the day by signing some CDs that just came in for Covers Volume 20-something, I don't even remember. But I also got some delayed Christmas gifts from a fan, which was a great ending to the day. The next morning, 6:30 a.m., Thursday, I'm gonna just do some boring household stuff before getting ready to go let out my parents' dog again for them. Today we have some videos, so I'm gonna get to work a little early and start rehearsing so I don't mess up. After I'm done rehearsing, I'm going to make some video demos for them so we have stuff to play to, and then just start to clean up the room a little bit and get the lights going while everybody comes in and we get ready to start hitting record. As I've mentioned before in some previous vlogs, we all do some of the filming, so here's kind of what it looks like when I'm filming people's shots. Just stand a little further back. This day we also decided to do the new Lady Gaga song, so I had to get some demos done for a quick turnaround. The rest of my day was pretty much just spent teaching, so after that I just packed it up and went home. And the next day, Friday, Valentine's Day, so some special dinners coming up and whatever, but first I always like to go to the daily mass on Friday if I have time to. I'm also going to hit up Avanti's to meet with my dad for a little bit before going off to their house and printing out some legal docs. I'm still in the middle of this really frustrating thing. It's not important, but I actually am kind of having fun going to the courthouse. It's such a pretty building. I have to mail off some stupid legal things before I'm going to come home and script out a video, and then after that I'm going to go to Valentine's Day brunch, dinner, I don't know, what do you call it when you go out to get a meal at 3:30 p.m. I don't know what that's called, but I did it and it was delicious. It was a good Valentine's Day. The next morning, Saturday the 15th, 5:30 in the morning, I mentioned this before, but I have to watch the Perpetual Adoration Chapel in Erie from 6 to 7. Business is booming. As you can tell, there's lots of people who want to be there at 6 a.m. And after that, I get to come home and take a nap. When I wake up a little bit later, I'm gonna stream while I record. I think the Lady Gaga song is what I was doing, I'm not sure, but I like to live stream sometimes when I do covers. And on Saturdays, I go to the match play at the tennis club in Erie, and I get beat by lots of high school kids, which is very humbling. And then I ended up going to dinner with my sister and my dad and Riley this night, and I always end up getting sat next to Ryan, as you'll see in this clip. He just, I don't know. He's always there when I'm there. I don't know what's going on with that. He's stalking me. But anyway, the next morning, it's Sunday, 16th. I'm doing more cat litter scooping, as one does before heading off to normal Sunday Mass. After Mass, I'm gonna end up going to get the band's van so I can move my grandpa's couch for him. It's weird. It feels like he's like moving out of college or something. I'm gonna get some diner food afterwards with some friends and shovel my walkway before trying to sit down and spend some time just writing music for fun. It is now Monday, the 17th. It's 8 a.m. I'm going to do some house chores before eventually setting up to record some long-form content. But of course, I have to go shovel my driveway again. But anyway, I'm prepping some content because I'm about to be heading out of town and I won't have my camera with me. So after I end up filming some stuff, I'm going to get some food and I'm going to head to work so that I can continue finishing up any sort of like little songs I have to do, videos I have to do, projects for other people, finish first to 11 covers, etc., etc. I'm going to teach some lessons later that day, as per usual. So some virtual lessons and some in-person lessons. Here are some students and I finishing up one of their new songs that they just wrote.
1, 2, 3, 4.
After work, I ended up stopping over at my parents' house. I am just saying bye to my sister before she goes back home, but also I wanted to just check in and make sure that I know everything I have to do before we leave for this vacation, if there's anything I'm missing or forgetting. The next morning, I'm going to film some short-form content, and I'm going to make some food, and after that, I am going to be heading out and just packing my car, because this is the day that I'm leaving for Montana to go snowboarding with some friends and some family. So I'm gonna stop in at work before I have to go because we have to quickly shoot the Lady Gaga video. So here's me practicing. Right before we start shooting, I'm just gonna give our bass player Trevor a little rundown of how to play it.
Oh!
So after we film the video, I just am going to teach some lessons, kind of finish out the work day, and then me and my dad are going to drive halfway to the airport that we're flying out of very early the next morning. And lucky for me, there's a piano there, so I got to play around. Bright and early on Wednesday, February 19th, heading out to the airport, left at like 4 a.m. And here's just, I guess, a little travel montage, getting on planes, getting on trains, eating some absolutely nutritious and definitely not kind of sketchy breakfast food, and meeting up with my best friend Amory, who's going to be joining us on this trip. So we ended up going out with a pretty big group of people. It was like 15 or something people ended up meeting us out there, including my brother, who's right there. And it was an amazing time. We were out in Montana at Whitefish, and we ended up staying in this like ridiculous house. I guess it's a place that can, fit 15 people comfortably or whatever. But this layout of this house makes like no sense. I wonder if it's captured in this like little sped up walkthrough of the place. It was such a beautiful place. It was amazing. There's just one really weird thing about it, which is where the living room area was and where I guess bunk beds where most of the guys were staying, that bedroom, you had to walk through the master bathroom. So like anytime I wanted to like go to my room, I had to risk almost seeing like my dad in the shower. It was the weirdest setup I have ever seen ever. But other than that, it was gorgeous. It was a really nice place. We had a ton of fun. That night we ended up going out to get some dinner. I also probably should mention, not that it really matters, that all of these timestamps are 2 hours delayed because my camera is recording on East Coast time. So even though it says 10:16 there, it's actually 8:16 a.m. But we're getting to the lift lines bright and early to try and get as many runs as possible. We were there for 3 days, and we're gonna try and make the most of it. So here are some shots of us getting out on the mountain for a little bit. It was very foggy, which is kind of unfortunate, but it was still a ton of fun. I had a great time just getting to ride with my friends and my brother, who I rarely get to see nowadays. Everyone's just so busy, but we're trying to make this a little bit of like a tradition. So giving us an excuse just to meet up every once in a while. This was kind of weird, but the deer just are very friendly, I guess, and used to humans, so they just come right up to you and say hi. So anyway, the next day, kind of same thing, same routine, day in, day out for the next 3 days. Just wake up, eat some Uncrustables, hit a light skin face, and then get on the mountain and start skiing. And the town that we're in is really cool. It's called Whitefish. It's a little bit different than some of the other like ski towns out west. If anybody has ever been to one before, this place is definitely a little more. It reminds me a lot of my hometown, I guess I'll say. It's definitely very like kind of small, local, little sparsely populated, but it's really nice. We're trying to make a thing out of it, a tradition, as I said earlier, including going to this spot called Remington's, which is just like a really kind of chill sports bar a little bit, and playing some shuffleboard, having fun, and getting some food afterwards. Next day, it is Saturday, the 22nd. We're hitting the slopes early, as usual, and we didn't get any snowfall while we were there, but the conditions were still pretty good, especially because it's a relatively unpopulated mountain, which is pretty nice. And we're usually gonna hit up some lunch in the middle of the day, get some chicken tenders. Hey bro, what you eating today?
Some chicken tendies and some mustard and some fries.
And that kind of wraps up the trip out west to Whitefish. It was awesome. I had a great time. Didn't love waking up super early going to the airport though, especially because right after this, like as soon as I get home, like right now, I land and get into Erie, and then I just immediately get in my car and drive to the studio because my band First to 11 is heading out to Orlando, Florida. We're meeting up with this company called Modern Musician who helps First to 11 with kind of like marketing, advertising, that whole area that we're not very good at yet, but we're trying to learn. So you're just getting to the hotel.
Donuts, high C, fruit punch. You know we gotta get some mac and cheese up in here.
Another very early morning the next day as we head out of the Cleveland airport around 4:30 a.m. And we are gonna get some breakfast as soon as we get there before actually checking out the Modern Musician house that we were put up in. It's kind of like a little studio, hype house, fusion kind of thing. They were having some bands stay there, so we were able to, get a bedroom there and we could all just hang out. They had a really nice space there, including this green screen infinity wall for videos, which was pretty cool. They have this a walking treadmill, but in like the main, office area. And really all we did that day was just kind of prep some advertising ideas for the week.
How's it going down here, bud?
Top bug.
And all we had to do, I think, for the rest of that day was just get some drums rented for some videos that we're going to be shooting eventually. And then we headed to downtown Disney, because if any of you know anything about the singer of First to 11, Audrey, you'll know that she is obsessed with Disney, and we can't go to Florida without going there. All right, buddy, what you got?
More civilized weapon of a distant age. I misquoted that.
You want to try it again?
I don't even know what is the quote. A more civilized weapon of a I don't know. Why not?
After we visited the Star Wars place and my band outed me to the lady behind the cash register for having never seen Star Wars, we went and got some dinner and I guess just kept walking around. Just visited some of the shops, and that was kind of that day. The next day, on Tuesday, the 25th, I'm just going to go for a run in the morning. Before getting the drums prepped for the video shoot, we're doing 2 videos on the green screen backdrop, infinity wall, whatever. And after I prep that and do my takes, we're gonna head out on the porch and just keep brainstorming some ideas for the upcoming meeting that we have. And here's a little sneak peek. After we all did all of our video takes, we went out to get some Korean barbecue, which, as you'll hear, is Ryan's favorite.
Trevor, how you holding up, bud?
Oh man, we had so much food. This is insane.
So what's your favorite thing?
Gotta be the broccoli.
All right.
Yep.
Ryan, how you holding up?
I'm pissed that Trevor's a liar,
Okay.
but I'm doing very good. I'm very happy.
You doing good?
I'm feeling great over here.
Okay.
The next morning, it's Wednesday the 26th, and we just do a lot more kind of meeting stuff. I didn't film a lot of that because it's just not the most exciting thing in the world. I tried to film a little bit more of like the fun stuff, like us going to Disney again for like the 3rd day in a row. I got to go to, well, I dragged people to the Porsche dealership because we met a friend on tour there years ago named George, who works at Porsche Orlando, and he is super friendly, and he always just kind of lets us walk around and see what's new, and it's like an addiction at this point. I can't not go there when we're in Orlando. I mean, there's so many beautiful cars there, but the craziest was this Chroma Flare 911 ST. You'll never see one of those again in your life, probably. Anyway, we walked around the Mall of Millennia for a while. Trevor bought like 13 watches. Ryan got some jeans. And we live streamed before heading to dinner.
A lovely day for a Guinness, I'd say. It's just Guinness.
It was a pretty impressive dinner. They had like actual like Irish dancers there. It was a sight, that's for sure. Anyway, the next morning, we are going to just be packing up and ditching the drums that we rented. Oh, party foul.
I'm picking it up.
Eat
I
it.
don't know where the garbage
Eat
is.
it. We ended up meeting up with a good friend of ours, or me and Audra's. He's a guy that we met on the Against the Current tour named Nick. We got some ice cream and it was super fun, and then we just kind of messed around till we had to head to the airport again and get home. So that's the vlog. It was a ton of traveling, a lot of waking up early, also so much fun. Like, so much fun even for being completely sleep deprived and having it pass me by so quickly and getting home at 3 in the morning. But I would do it all again, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out my Patreon if you ever want to watch these videos a little bit earlier than they actually get released. Thanks for watching.